Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Alexander Williamson here with The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I wanted to cover, I usually cover it in Fishery, which is going to be a little late this week. I've just been really busy and a little worn down physically. So, I will have it, and I've got most of the articles ready and stuff like that, but I'm just still kind of sorting through which ones I want to include because literally the amount of news coming out about freshwater fish right now in the entire world, but specifically the US, Europe, India, is so overwhelming that I wanted to go over some of it with you guys today, live right now, show you guys some maps, some pictures, some links and resources about freshwater fish. Can you guys hear me okay? This mic, I don't have it set up here from like a boom stand right now. It's kind of hanging, so I hope it sounds okay. But I also hope all of y'all are doing well, and it's good to see everyone who's here already. So I see we've got a Ticket to Space, a Screaming Fly Productions, Lady Rorschach, The Yeti, Buttface, Fish and Shrimp by Rich, 3G, Craig Doniger, Silver Creep Aquarius, Irene, hello, Peter, hello, Fanaticals, Sage, DT, D Soras T's, Eric Wyrock. Hey Eric, how's it going? Good to see you, man. And Jordan Tyler have all been chatting it up. Chattanooga. Who else is in here? Rob's Fish. Hey, what's up? Okay, so and Discordia, what's up? You gotta wash some dishes? Not allowed. Lazy Phoenix, hello, welcome to the live stream. So I want to show you guys a map right off the bat. So we're gonna do probably 20 minutes of updates on newly extinct freshwater fish. Unfortunately, some good news on there are 31 species of fish that aquarists, particularly in the care species program that is in a lot of local fish clubs and in other groups like that, there are 31 species right now that have gone extinct in the wild, but they're being kept in captivity. So that's exciting. Oh, and they have also, to different degrees of success, been reintroduced. There's probably a whole lot more than that, but we're going to go over that for the first 20 minutes here. And then what we're going to do is pick up where we left off. I'm alive. I promise. I promise I'm alive. My camera lights and microphone just decided to fall and hit me. That's all. Now I've literally got heavy duty equipment. This is probably going to fall again. Heavy duty equipment and not so heavy duty backups to stabilize it being tape. And not duct tape either, because I have to move things around from time to time. All right, guys, let's try this again. Very precarious. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to say before kicking off all this is that we have also the link that Alan is supporting. I want to thank all of you guys so very much. We've raised, you guys have, I haven't done anything. You guys have raised $903 towards the $1,000 goal of airfare, lodging, and going to the AGA conference and being able to make videos, bring back info after doing workshops and teach-ins and stuff like that, talking with some of the best botanists in the world. And it's just super exciting news. Somebody just said that I met it. Pam, you say I met it. Is that Was that the goal that you're talking about? Let's take a look here. So anything, oh, we hit it right on the money. And Pam, thank you so very much. Oh my goodness. So guys, I'm going to Chicago. Woo! We're going to Disneyland. So thank you so very much. Yeah, any money over that was just going to go towards buying weird plants to bring back and show you guys. That being said, I'm just so excited to go. And thank you so much. And I promise I'll bring back content. We'll probably do some live streams from there and all that. So I already bought the plane tickets, and I'm going to be staying in a hotel. We were able to do it for $1,000, even though really things added up to more like 1,500. But we're able to do it for, hopefully it'll stay under 1,000 with food and everything. I'm going to try to like pack my own like mixed sandwiches for the week and stuff like that, other than the banquet for the event. And then that way we can, focus on going to things like the aquariums and stuff like that. So I'm really, really excited. That's really cool. So if you guys are going to there, like it looks like Foreshore might be, then I guess I'll be meeting you guys. So yeah, hit me up if you're in the Chicagoland area. I'll be there like the 27th through the 2nd, I believe it is. It's a Wednesday night, which probably doesn't really count with the way I get in so late. And then I'm not leaving till late Monday night or Tuesday morning, however you want to see it that way also. So yeah. Jane Courtney, what's up? Hello, Alex from Moss Vale, New South Wales. Hello. Cheers to you. Kenny, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. And Lady Rorschach, always good to see you as well. Always good to see all of you. So let me jump right in, especially for those of you watching in the future who are watching a replay. I want to show you guys a map just to start this thing off. Yeah, that's not good, is it? So what this is a map, and the dark red, the dark red is where it has reached drought proportions that are past our records, that are more extreme than anything in past records. And this is for whole basins. So basically, 40 to 50% of the US right now is in a drought condition. Now, this isn't just the summer, causing things to be warmer and whatnot. This is actual drought. So oddly, Washington is not in there. I mean, we do get a lot of rain and everything, but it is kind of crazy to see. So as you guys probably have seen, Lake Mead, Lake Powell, they're literally drying up, and I don't know what the solution is going to be. It's very bad. So that's something to consider. Now, while we looked at that map right there that we just saw, I also want to bring up this map here, which is species diversity by location. And the number of species, this is in each body of water, and it includes crayfish, crabs, mussels, shrimp, and fish, and no amphibians or plants or anything like that, though. But in those categories, you can see where Alabama and Tennessee, parts of that corner of Kentucky, they're by far the most diverse areas. And into this part of Texas, as well as in California and Oregon, where there's drought. Luckily, in a way, most of the drought is affecting where my cursor is, kind of in the yellow. But if it starts to creep in here, then we start losing a lot. For instance, Alabama has 600 different 603 to be precise species of fish, freshwater fish. And just the other day, they just, hey Sky Dancer, how are you doing? Just the other day, they also released information on well, I also had some interesting stuff because I wanted to talk about how people are keeping pets and or fish rather. So right now they estimate that there are 151.1 million freshwater fish when they look back 10 years ago, and then they averaged it to what they think now with surveys, and they didn't project it or correct it for the future necessarily. They just wanted to see if the rates of ownership, if they held steady, what it would be. Now, if they've gone up, that's very possible since the pandemic. But what I wanted to just mention was that there's that many people owning fish, but then when they break it down further, oh wait, sorry, that's the wrong graph. When they break it down further, it shows that it's not that many people owning fish, as in, let's see, why are these opening? Come on. Okay, so here's one more map to show you guys. Again, look at Alabama with the 77 endemic or unique to that area species. I'm up here in the blue where there's like one. We have one endemic fish. Well, arguably maybe two, but endemic fish to our state. It's this and Idaho are pretty much the Idaho, New Mexico, and Arizona are arguably the least diverse freshwater fish states in the country, with 54 native to Washington. I think there's only 47 in Idaho, different species native, and with people. I don't know why none of these actually showed up with their titles in order and all that. But what I was going to show you guys too was some more infographics and data that I found interesting. Can we zoom in? Yeah, okay. So, come on. Now it doesn't want to zoom out, of course. All right, well, whatever. We'll just start all over. But in any case, so out of all those people that own fish and the native fish are not really owned as pets very often. And it's something to consider as trends are growing of other fish going extinct around the world. And on that note, they are announcing some fish that are going to be considered extinct. The Sciota, is this honey? Lara? Anyways, I think it's Sciota or I can't remember if they pronounce it Sciota like heathens or if it's Sciota River. But the Sciota Mad Tom, they're officially going to list it as extinct. The San Marcos Gambusia, and you may have heard about this list of stuff that they're talking about marking extinct, because what it is, it includes a whole bunch. There's the info I was looking for, but it includes a whole bunch of. And why did these all get broken up? Sorry, guys. Of course, my email just scatters everything to the wind. These are different. I like the little infographic. It just looks like a turd. And it almost says turd. Turgidity blossom pearly mussel. But on this list, there's all these mussels that went extinct in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, also, which is interesting that they've been extinct since the 80s. But what's happened is those are the last confirmed sightings, and they're going to announce officially what is extinct. And it includes the Gambusia for San Marcos, Texas. And people are frustrated by that. Okay, there we go. People are frustrated by the list because the ivory-billed woodpecker is going to be on it. And the ivory-billed woodpecker is one that birders and bird lovers want to always, it's like their Bigfoot or their their Loch Ness monster kind of thing. It is, they don't want it to be extinct, but it is pretty certain that it is extinct. It's likely that it is. So not good. But in the same time, what I want to show you guys too is this map here of water in 1976 to 1990. This was the level of nitrates found in these huge water basin areas. And back then, from the 70s to the 90s, you can see China has a little, Ethiopia, Egypt, the Nile has a little, India a little, and Europe has a whole lot, and the US has a whole lot. And what that is nitrogen in the actual water. So nitrate runoff from fertilizer or decomposition or whatever it may be, but it's how much nitrate is measured in the water in parts per million. Now, to knock your socks off, the parts per million, their increase is measured in less than 4 parts per million. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. Because in our tanks, we look at 20, 30, 40 parts per million, and to us, it's like nothing. But in the wild, that's a whole lot. So from comparing these years, it's not a good trend. So from the 70s to the 90s, you had some problem areas. The only real good news is that nitrates have gone down in northern China and or rather not gone down. Sorry, guys. They have gone way, way up in northern China and northern India. So that's really bad news. But the only good news is that they've gone down in Europe due to regulations. So you can see where it used to be bright red. It has now gone down a little bit. So why do I mention all this? Everything, including the thumbnail, America has also kind of stayed the same, but that's due to our breadbasket, our Midwest farming mostly, that we have that. Now, Africa also becoming more modernized has been growing a lot more crops and things, and it's coming online as another source of nitrates. So we get a lot of our tropical fish from here. Even here on the border of the Amazon and in Chile and Argentina and things, we're getting more and more. It's probably agricultural runoff, and it's unfortunate because the map for pesticides literally looks identical. The only place that they had decreased levels, let's see here, and this was, the only place that they had the decreased levels were in this part of the Amazon, the southern Amazon, and then out of the Amazon. So the Amazon kind of is a blob, like right where my cursor is here, and so this kind of bisects it a bit. And it looks like South Africa a little bit, maybe up by the Korean Peninsula, and then in the U.S. Southwest. But remember, the species that were found there are really low, the speciation. So when you look at these maps, they can be deceiving. Don't let people deceive you. That's my whole point, is don't let people show you a map and say, look how great the water quality is doing overall. Well, what good is that if there's only 10 species of fish in that area versus, in some main area where there's a whole lot of fish? Now, temperature of the fish, or of the water rather, that these fish live in, it's also gone sky high and is not in a good way. So that is very bad. Here was just another heat map, and this is by U.S. county. Again, showing some of those spots where fish, mussels, and fish and mussel species, I guess is what's included in this map. But yeah, so the drought on one hand is targeting stuff that is not too big of a deal, but for diversity. But that's not the only part of the story, because in the places where it counts, there are a few big things that are happening, including the water either getting more alkaline or more acidic. And that's what this map about is. So alkalinity is commonly used to indicate water body's capacity to buffer against acidity. That means its ability to resist or dampen changes in pH. Thus, alkaline compounds in water, such as bicarbonates, carbonates, and hydroxides, lower acidity of the water. So you guys probably know that, but what they've got here is the years, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, and they've got the what's been going on in the alkalinity level, and the oceans have been getting more acidic, and in a lot of cases, the water in like Asia has been getting actually more alkaline, which is kind of interesting. Same with in parts of Africa, and this is because some of those areas are not industrialized yet, and they're putting a lot of limestone and bicarbonates and chemicals into the water, whereas we tend to have the end result of our industrial process causing the acidity to rise. So when you put together pH changes, temperature, water levels, and all of that, it ends up painting a pretty dark picture. And there is this great website, which is Drought Monitor, and it has that same heat map that I showed you guys, but you can go in and you can click by region, and I'll put all these in the description after we're done. But then you can get even closer and take a look, and then you realize, oh, look, this is abnormally dry up in Washington, even though it didn't seem to show up on the map. So the whole U.S. is seeking problems. And a lot of people want to go and say that there isn't an issue with climate change. And I'm tired of it. We need to call a spade a spade. I mean, if it wasn't enough that Lake Powell and Lake Mead, that we've seen those drop to like an unheard of level, to the point where we might not even be able to run the hydroelectric dams anymore on some of the biggest hydroelectric dams in our country. That's scary. But not to mention that we have to decide between that and all those regions surrounding it or downriver from it getting water coming through. And whether we use that for agriculture or it goes to its traditional places, whether we let any of it run off into the natural wetlands, marshes, streams, places like the Salton Sea that have dried out over the last 40 years, it's really frustrating to see that. And we know that places like the Aral Sea have been drying out. Now, that is a man-made inflicted problem, in that basically right when the Soviet Union dissolved, collapsed, the people in charge in Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan and Tajikistan, all the stands, a lot of them kept some level of independence, but a lot of them kind of said, we're going to use these resources. And they all of a sudden started supporting all this food and growth of agriculture out in the middle of the steppe, the steppe, as in the Mongolian steppe. And it's like tundra basically in the desert. It's the opposite of cold tundra. It's just grasslands that don't have much good nutrition or soil. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And the population growth in those places started skyrocketing as they started using the water and pumping it out of the Aral Sea. So let me pull a map up of that in case you guys aren't familiar with it. I would assume most of you guys have seen Lake Powell and Lake Mead and how dry they are right now. That's a whole other thing that's scary, but images of, wait, let's go into here. And hey, Kelly, what's going on? It's so good to see you. Chu, really good to see you. Also, who else is hiding in here? Alan's in here. Our goal is reached. Yeah, that's right, buddy. I appreciate it. I really appreciate what you did for me there, because I wasn't going to beg for money, and then you begged for me, and it just had to get done. So thank you so much. Also, I see Peter Lee, Curtis M. What's going on, buddy? Kyle Thompson, Desortes. Is that the how I say that? Anyways, Xana Doodoo, what's up, brother? Good to see you as well. So I will get to any questions or thoughts if anybody has stuff going on. But yeah, I wanted to get into kind of this whole drought and extinction thing. So it's really just a formality that those species of fish are going to get listed. And the new list includes things like in the U.S., it's the San Marcos, Goodyead, and the Scioto Mad Tom. And then also the world list is really bad in that it's got like the biggest freshwater fish in length to ever exist, the Oriental or Chinese paddlefish. There's a whole host of things that have been listed in there that are just really depressing as well. KBH Nanofish, hello, how are you? Yeah, there were only 6 billion people in school or in on Earth when I was in grade school as well. Yeah, and they say that the world's population is going to level off, but the problem is so many people are moving out of the rural areas and into suburban and urban areas that it's just never before seen in world history a movement of people so massive. You're going to see city centers of 50 million, 100 million people. They're expecting Tokyo to hit 50 million soon. They're expecting Hyderabad in Pakistan and Lagos in Nigeria, both to hit 50 million by 2030. I mean, crazy in their metro areas. So if you guys haven't heard, beyond now I'll share this this image with y'all. If you guys haven't heard also, beyond just Lake Powell and Lake Mead in the US, there have been a number of other places that are really facing serious threat. One being the Rio Grande, or Rio Grande, however you want to say it. I know there are heated opinions about pronunciation of that place, so I'm not going to go there. But yeah, it's very worrying. So okay, so let's share this. Nomad Fish, hello, John Monroe. How will you be? How will you be? How are you? So Lake Powell, if you guys, I mean, this was created a long time ago, and yet you could see a difference. You can see there's some map or there's some photos that are just incredible where you can see like a 200-foot difference, no problem. These towers, only that top, see those squares at the very top? That's all that was left of these towers. So it's real obvious to see, what's been going on. But in 1 year, 40 feet drop in water in some parts of the lake. You can see a ring around the bathtub, basically, that is the lake, that is hundreds of feet tall. And obviously that is running up where, it's reducing where fish can live, and it's having all sorts of problems for navigation and even getting into the lake. And again, here you can see where it used to be lake with some, rock features and stuff, and now it's just uncovered. It's just really a bummer. But the Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake, this year alone, I was just reading, and I've got sources for this too. So let me read these off. If you go to peoplesworld.org, there's an article on the Great Salt Lake. And under a new House bill, HB 410, they are asking for $40 million from Congress to come up with a plan. So that's just to come up with a plan of how to save the Salt Lake. And now remember, the Salt Lake, to use the water from it, you have to desalinize it. It's only good for like brine shrimp and maybe cooling stuff and a few other uses, water sports and stuff maybe too. But there's no fish that live in there. It's too salty. But it just boggles my mind that 150 extra acres of that lake are showing right now, of the lake bed, or not acres. God, man, I screwed that up. 150 square miles of extra space are uncovered right now than have ever been at the Great Salt Lake. So the Great Salt Lake dried up. I mean, that's one of the results. It's like the number 6 result. So here we go. And these ones are even out of date, but you can see how big the lake used to be here when it's almost shaped like the letter K or something. And here it looks like the letter H, maybe, with a little pond here. But this whole part is missing. And here, it's gotten even worse since here. We've lost another like 10 feet this year. So the problem with that, amongst many others, though, is you see these white lands here. It's not good, surprisingly. And yeah, here we go. Here is another example. So the lake in human times, when Brigham Young probably settled the place, it was probably all the way out here, a big circular kind of lake with an island in it. Now it is like gone. It's just down to a sliver, and these reservoirs up here. But the worst example of this probably is going to be the Aral Sea. Now, the problem with the Great Salt Lake, they're thinking of even pumping in water from the Pacific Ocean by making a pipeline through Washington or Oregon and seeing, if they can get water, desalinize it, and then dump it back in because they're that desperate. They're expecting $40 million just to plan what they're going to do in the next, I think it's 3 years or whatever. Now the Aral Sea, if you look up pictures of this is like mind blowing. This thing was like the size of one of the Great Lakes, and they totally eroded it. And this one's got Salt Lake and the Aral Sea. And then if we go over here, you can see. Oh, my bad. One of those Salt Lakes was labeled wrong that we looked at for a moment. But this is the difference here in the satellite sets from 19 what does this say? 1980. Let's take a look. 1977. So this is 1977. And it changed that much from 77 to 89 to 2006 to now. It's just that little sliver. This is almost cut off completely. So it's not just in America. That's my main point. And this isn't just climate issues. This is mismanagement. Holy cow! Look at that now. That is incredible. That whole thing used to be one of the world's largest lakes. You see all these bizarre post-apocalyptic scenes going on. But yeah, so I wanted to show you guys that stuff. And then I also wanted to, I'll do it another time, but I've got a list here also and some resources of all the fish that are currently critically endangered right now on extinction watch, like for the next year. In fact, they're fish that are likely extinct, like they haven't been seen in a few years, and they'll be up next. So yeah. Sky Dancer says, we got a warning August 13th for all people and animals to stay away from the Shenandoah River because of toxic algae. Yeah, it's not good. There are a lot of issues, and coming off the Great Salt Lake, arsenic is in the sand on the lake bed, on that salty lake bed, and it will be picked up into the air, and they're trying to do studies right now and figure out just how bad the effects are going to be on humans, if it's going to be enough to actually cause death and destruction right away, or if it's just not good to have that built up in your body, so to speak. But again, before we move on, here are the drought regions within the U.S. And there is Salt Lake right there, and it is getting a lot smaller. It used to be a lot rounder. Now, there's other places like up in here, the Great Lakes, that seem to be doing good. There's even places up in Alaska that are getting more water. So obviously the amount of water in the world didn't change per se, but where most of the people in the world live, things are changing intensely. And I wanted to bring attention to that right now, because the other news coming out of all these places, which is really scary, is that in Europe, the source of the Thames, or Thames as you might know it by if you're an American, it has dried up completely as well. I think they said 7 miles or so, like something like 15 kilometers from the source, the riverbed is dry. And look at this. So this is the Rhine River that goes through France and Germany, and it's 2 meters lower than the lowest past record. So it's 6 feet lower. And they just did an assessment and said that it would be $80 billion a year of an economic hit to Germany, France, and Austria, I believe, were the 3 countries they were counting. But that doesn't count knock-on effects, like the fact that they have barges going up and down the Rhine and the Danube River all the time, every day, and now they can't navigate it. It's gotten too shallow, or it's not there at all, like in some of these cases. And that is something that they kept track of for the last 1,500 years. And 500 years ago, as this article mentions from The Guardian over in the UK, they knew it was, they've been keeping records since like Roman times, since there are some records for 2,500 years, but there's a steady record for the last 1,500 years. So they know everything about the water amount that came down in most of Europe since 500 AD. And there was a really bad drought around 500 years ago that killed lots of people. And they're saying this is worse than that was. And it's been 1 year. And nowadays we can bring in bottled water. We can move people. We can, we can use irrigation and have pipes and valves that shut things off and reset things. But overall, it's just, it's such a crazy tragedy that's going on around all of the world. It's not just in America. Also, the northern Ganges River is under threat. The Batman River, which yes, there is a place called the Batman River, and it's like Bantam or it's a Hindi or some sort of regional word in India. But I just think it's funny that there's a Lake Batman, there's a Batman fish, a fish named after the river that it's in, the Batman. It's probably Batman or something is probably how it's spelled. But here also, just the last thing before we go look at the old fish magazine again and finish up with the issue we were looking at, is that the latest info out of July from the IUCN, which is like basically like the UN or World Commission on deciding what fish or species of any kind are endangered and whatnot. And right now, the fish around the world are in real bad shape, in that it doesn't really show what's extinct, but there's a whole list online that you can look up here. And then they've got fish that are very threatened, as well as some that have gone extinct recently. But 1,000 critically endangered fish species, including 87 which are possibly extinct. 3% of all fish species are listed as critically endangered. 3%. And the IUCN also lists 4 fish subspecies as critically endangered. Now, the other thing, 3% of all fish species evaluated, and at least 4 subspecies. If you guys read that with me, that was worded weird. I apologize. Anyways, 3,191 fish species, or 21% of those evaluated, are listed as data deficient. And what that means is that it's not that nobody has the data on it. It's that those fish are the ones that live in only one lake anyways. Like they only exist in one river in America or one river on Madagascar. So they just don't have enough info on if they're going to go extinct or not, or if it's bad, or if the population usually goes down, or if it only sometimes goes down. Like desert pupfish, they thought were completely doomed. Their population went down to like 37 from the Devil's Hole pupfish in California in Death Valley. And then all of a sudden in 2 years, it skyrockets back up to higher than it had ever been seen. So sometimes we just don't know, but that's what's suspected. And then the least concern is only a little over half these days now, which is just super sad from where we, once were. It's just very unfortunate. All right, guys. So I said that we would look at the issue of whoa, sorry guys. Let me set the microphone back up too. Tropical Fish Hobbyist, which we will. And we're going to look at the ads and the knickknacks and the articles and the fish that are considered new and stuff. we're going to get through probably the rest of the issue that we were on, which is the what is it? The wonderful, I can't remember it. Mr. Limpet, the incredible. I don't remember what the verbiage is on that movie, but you know, you got Barney Fife over there. So he was a known fish keeper, and we're gonna pick up on some of the ads and stuff. But does anybody have any questions or anything? If you're just joining us, I want to say hey and thanks for being here. Again, also thank you so much for getting the goal met for going to the AGA, the Aquatic Gardeners Association. I will be going. Any donations over that 1,000 mark will be going towards buying new and weird plants that I can, since there's people from all over the world coming. I don't have my own money to like spend on stuff, which is totally fine. I'm going there to cover it and to meet people and to listen to lectures and just have a good time. And also I'm sharing a room with my buddy Luke, which is going to be great. So that cut down on the cost. I had flying rewards points. So that also helps a bit. And hopefully I'll see some of my Chicagoland viewers out there if you guys want to meet up, or if you happen to be going to the Aquascaping and Aquatic Gardener Association biannual meeting. It happens every 2 years somewhere in America. John Monroe says the CEO of Nestle Corporation said that said that people do not have a right to water. Yeah, except his company does. They get gifted like rights to use water out of California or here or there. And in some places they don't even pay. Other places they pay ridiculously cheap rates that are lower than like what the hydroelectric usage would get out of it, or you know, way lower than what farmers have to pay for it. Let's see here. Corey Miller, what's going on, man? Dragon Lair, how's it going, Patrick? Yeah, lawns are a big factor, guys. As I'm reading your questions, lawns are definitely a big factor. And it's a real choice. I mean, even us keeping fish tanks. Now, I've been keeping track of how much water I've gone through, and last month I only went through 83 gallons doing water top-offs, and that's thanks to plants. So also, again, back to the whole AGA thing. Thank you. Hopefully I'll go learn more. I'd love to know, you know, if there's any plants that specifically eat a lot of nitrates, produce a lot of oxygen, and don't grow a ton. I doubt that there are, because they kind of use that to grow as their general rule. But if there's any that are slow growing, it'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, good old Don Knotts. That's right. So if we don't have any opposition, let's look at the magazine. You know, I also am realizing that this new webcam, as much as I think it's pretty good quality and I enjoy it, my eyes are always reading the screen like this, and it makes my eyelids look like they're half open, and it probably makes my eyes look like they're twitching back and forth. So I'm gonna need to like mount it lower or something, because it's tripping me out. I'm not used to how it goes right now. So if I undid it right now and pointed it at the keyboard, well, then it would look like I'm just like staring off into space when I'm looking at the screen. I don't know. We got to find a happy medium, because either way, it looks like I'm not engaged, and I don't like that. All right. So let me get this untangled. Well, not untangled, but let me get it clear. And Buttface, hello. Also, Shanna, what is going on? It's good to see you. K Day, what's up? Good to see you, obviously. Greg Snell, what's up? How's it going? And who else is in here sneaking in? The Harry Woodsman and DG915. What is going on? How are you guys doing? Yeah, I think duckweed's up there definitely with the top plant for the standards that I had just laid out. All right, guys. So I'm going to need your help again, knowing when this looks upright, because I can't remember which setting on the camera was upright. And again, because of the glare and because we want to be able to look in on specific things in this old book or magazine rather, I'm going to be holding it even though it's slightly shaky. We'll have to come up with a better system, like an overhead type platform that I'll build for it. But I want to thank you all. Also, you know, we got to thank Doug Sharp, who donated the entire 1964 collection of his Tropical Fish Hobbyist magazines to me about 2 years ago now. And that was so incredibly thoughtful, and it's so nice of him to share that with the community. We went through some of these 2 years ago when my camera was no good, but now I've bought this this fancy pants camera, the 4K and scan camera that can, like, it came with software that like can turn text into or imagery into text and all sorts of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Stop moving the mic. Uh-oh. Is the mic sounding weird? Because I had to move it for the book, but I haven't been moving it since then. How's the sound? What's up? I am moving the camera, though. All right, so the purple striped gudgeon was in this issue. Let's get the reflection up. This old magazine gets a lot of glare in it. Now, they do have color. Morowina, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you. So I like looking at these old filter ads, though. So this is 1964, and look what they used to give you. Replacement parts with numbers and everything. Even though they were just little plastic filters and tubing and all that, they still gave you all the little pieces you could want to repair a thing. They also have aquarium purifier, which, look at this, it is charcoal and glass wool in filter boxes. So they've got the under gravel filter there, and then they're showing using a section of this stuff that is made out of charcoal and fiberglass, basically. Man, that's gnarly. That is very gnarly. But with the Eureka Aquarium Purifier, the aquarium gravel becomes a permanent filter media. The gravel itself being cleansed by continual flow and purified water, waste of all kinds, including excess food, instead of waste of all kinds, including excess food. Instead, that should be a period there. Instead of causing the gravel to become foul from decay or absorbed into the gravel and hold on, guys. Man, this is poor writing. Wastes of all kinds, including excess food, instead of causing the gravel to become foul from decay, are absorbed into the gravel and are chemically broken down into fertilizing material for plant life. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just a dummy. Using ordinary aquarium gravel, the purifier will never clog. That's not true. But it's just funny how an under gravel filter, it's called a purifier when they add the charcoal to it. In sizes for any standard aquarium, but only up to 20 gallons, which is interesting. I find that definitely interesting. Ken, hello. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. And again, everybody coming in, I just want to thank you so much. The pinned comment, it links to the GoFundMe. We have hit the goal that Alan set up, saying, yes, gravel is totally inert. You'd have to grow bacteria on it. That's the real filter. You're totally right, Discordia. Now, if they were using like pumice or some sort of gravel that was really absorbent and could grow a lot of bacteria on it, that would be a pretty cool way to do it. Now, they've also got in here ads for saltwater stuff, but I don't know nothing about none of that. So then over to the purple striped gudgeon. I like these old pictures. To take a black and white picture like that before you had a sneak at the digital film, knowing the aperture with reflections on the glass and all that, super, super crazy hard to do. So kind of interesting. All right, look at this too. Wanted, experienced fish handler to run a small fish farm in Miami. Must be familiar with imports, fish shipping, and aquatic plants. Beautiful home plus attractive salary. Please send photo and 3 trade references, plus details of experience, age, and marital status. Kind of interesting. Sky Dancer, thank you kindly. So wait, they said to keep it from absorbing into the gravel. So it's fiberglass is what they're putting down. So they're basically putting down in that ad, they're putting down a whole Brillo pad with a layer of charcoal or carbon under it, and then fiberglass as the top layer. So it's catching all that debris rather than allowing that stuff to fall through. So it's basically like putting a filter pad made out of pokey, brittle stuff that can fall apart in your aquarium on. And when I say fiberglass, I mean more like the asbestos textured acrylic stuff rather than what we'd think of. Look at these cribs. This is interesting. So in 1964, the cribs look pretty darn good. Even in black and white. Now they do have color in this magazine, and that was kind of an early thing that they advertised. Like they can send you pictures of 300 different colorful fish. And I like the different names of fish back then too. The dragonfish, the mud skippers, aka the missing link fish. Then they've got all these books and write in or mail in orders. But in the back, a lot of times they'd have dealers of different fish that would write, and they'd take out an ad. So they have earthworm culturing in this thing, but we're not going to read all that. I might cover that another time. And then they also have a movie preview. So this is kind of when Herbert Axelrod is trying to really amp up the magazine. Now it looks like he's got angelfish, gouramis, goldfish, and silver dollars maybe together. I'm trying to make out. Okay, so I see definitely angel, goldfish, silver dollar, a ball of shark. Can't make out what those ones on the bottom are. Maybe tiger barbs. And then he's got like a water line right into it from the house with like a faucet, like a sprinkler. And it's in like a Euro style deal. So then all these filters were being sold back in this time. And look at their ad claims that so remind me of today's aquarium hobby that You never need to clean this filter again. Miracle water softener, miracle hardness test kit. So GH and KH or calcium, something like that. And a 138 page manual, 75 cents. Always interesting. Yeah, Skydancer, if you want to go back, what I want to try to do is, in theory, for members, I'll probably try to take some PDFs of this book in the near future. But the problem is this book is not 75 years old. So I can what they call, critique it and share a review of it slash make jokes about it. But you can't impersonate or claim that it's your info. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. And I can't just show like the page held still, even if it does focus like this. In theory, they could come after me for that if I show the whole thing. Patrick says, I hate to admit it, but I use many of those products when they were new. All right. Never clean again filter. If you have a filter again. Oh, wait. Never clean again filter. It's called a filterless tank. You just leave it on there and never clean it. 3D aquarium background. Now that's interesting. And tank dividers. So little slide-in dividers probably work identical to the ones now. But the 3D tank was still, here we go. The 3D tank divider is kind of, the backgrounds got really popular during this time. Before that, they were, oh, you were joking? Okay. No worries. I understand, though. I wish I could just hold it on the page and then we could like zoom in on the computer, like I could just scan it ahead of time. But I've already been warned that, one, don't hold a shot for more than 30 seconds, and two, if you can help it, other than cover shots, don't show the whole thing in a frame, like centered, like scanned in or anything. Like try to keep the light on it somewhat, and or the folds and things, so that it's like you're showing something. You're not just I guess plagiarizing or reproducing or rebroadcasting their stuff. But here you've got VitaFlakes, which was a company around for a really long time. Their sales packaging for the counter, which is kind of interesting. Let me see if we can get that to focus. Yeah. I've earned my guy. Oh, you've warned your guy that if he falls asleep before you're painting his nails. Well, that's a threat that I would get generally, but it's more of I said I could do a better job than her, and then took the nail polish. Is how it started. But then when I realized my nails are dirty so often, I just decided, I'll paint them once in a while. Plus, it gets people talking, just a general icebreaker type thing, and it also makes my hands look very animated when I'm speaking. You notice the finger where you're pointing and stuff. So here's a whole list of resources on where you'd get these guides for 25 cents on any animal you had. Lots of different types of fish in here. And then over here, you've got dogs and birds and chameleons, chipmunks as pets, ducks as pets, frogs and toads as pets. Yeah, it's just super. I don't know. I love it. Yeah, cutting people's hair, yes. Yeah, 1964 was 58 years ago. Yeah. I just rounded it to 60, John. Saving live bear fry. I'm writing this wait, let's make sure you guys can see this, okay? So they've got like advice things, which is like YouTube of the day. So I'm writing this letter for the benefit of those hobbyists who have trouble saving babies of live bears. There are a very simple way to solve this problem. First, put your expecting female into a small tank of about 24. Wait, does that say 20? Oh, 2.5. I said 24. It's hard to read. 24 2.5 gallons. Then attach around the outside filter of the tank without using any glass, wool, or charcoal. Remove the end of the filter intake and plant heavily around it. When the babies are born, they will naturally swim to the plants and then drawn to the intake. Then remove the female and return the babies to the tank. And then there's like thoughts on these ideas and things. A good idea, Don, but if you don't do one thing more, your babies will be pumped right back to the wide open water of their mother. You have to cover the bottom of the return tube. Okay, so this is for a different style filter anyways. So my question is on mystery snails. About 6 months ago, I bought a mystery snail about the size of a silver dollar. It has 3 lines around it in which it looks like layers of the shell. Is there any way I can find out how old it is? Also, they've got, all sorts of ads here of companies that are now gone. The Sander Ozonizer. Is this just the electric thing that just creates? Does it say? I'm just seeing what it. If it was purported to do anything. Oh, apple snails and mystery snails. Kissing gouramis. They never answered the other question. That's odd. Oh wait, maybe a snail is not a tree. They did. It was just out of order. Snail is not a tree. A mystery snail carries these 3 rings with him throughout his life. I'm afraid there is no way to tell a snail's age by examining its shell. Being a tropical species, the snail grows at about the same rate throughout the year, and for this reason, the shell remains about the same through the year. And also, most snails are hermaphrodite. We're not going to go there. I don't want to get demonetized again over such a wholesome stream. Am I okay? I'm trying to read and decide what we're looking at the same time. It's a little bit of a challenge, but I am doing well. Plant tabs, look at that. Root tabs early on. Liquid or plant tabs. This is 1964, y'all. Really, really cool. No, I get that, John. Is it an actual ozone creator that it was, or was it calling it ozone and just making oxygen, but with an electric current? Because I don't know how they make ozone in a tank. And if it is helpful, why don't we do it anymore? Just curious. Increase your profit with germ out. That's interesting. Attached to outside of a filter, germ out's cleansing radiation rids the tank of any harmful. It better be radiation, like in the sense of a microwave or something. But as the water is circulated, germs out penetrating radiation destroys disease-causing bacteria and germs. Fish stay healthy and hardy. They live longer. Germ out is easy to sell. Anyone who has lost fish needs the priceless protection of germ out. Retail price $15.95. Act now and write to direct to the manufacturer. Yeah, so I just find yeah, and then here somebody wanted a pen pal in Africa, which is interesting. All right, here we've got another one of I recently bought a betta around 1.5 inches in length. When I got home, it started chasing some cardinals and neon tetras, a half-inch long, but there were white clouds in the tank too. Why didn't it chase them? Only your betta could answer this. Probably bright colors of the cardinals and neons made them look good enough to eat. Just can't figure it out sometimes. What makes a fish do the things that they do? You know, I actually probably would have a different answer to that now. I would probably say, so in the question, they were saying that the betta was starting chasing cardinal tetras and neon blue tetras that were a half-inch long. And then they weren't chasing the white clouds. Well, white clouds are generally like 1 inch to 1.5 inches long. I'd have just been food size. I don't know. Yeah. Those UV sterilizers, they still sell some of those too. But yeah, so then again, in this episode, I like to point out that there's a place called Salisbury, Rhodesia in Africa, which was it today, Zambia or Zimbabwe. Infusoria is too small for most live bearers. The best small food for them is newly hatched brine shrimp or finely chopped tubifex worms. For egg layers, fries best is easiest in a natural system. Dump the accumulated debris from a couple of dirty filters into a gallon jar. Then fill with clean water. When everything settles, you will find the water swarming with infusoria, which can be fed at once. This can be repeated again and again, but after the first time, you have to give them a little time to multiply once more. Infusoria tablets are also very helpful. Line breeding is one step removed from inbreeding. It consists of breeding fish from the same strain, which are selected from desirable characteristics. But okay, well, whatever. So aquarium plants thrive, and again we got root tabs and liquid fertilizer, and an old company literally called Plant Tabs Corp out of Baltimore. So look at Tetra. We got Tetra granules. No, Tetramin. West Germany's famous fish food. New bestseller in Europe. Scientifically, for every tropical species. That cracks me up. Natural food scientifically blended for every tropical species. Yeah, I'm just gonna say no. You can't make a blend for every species. But you know they had 3 types for 8 varieties and 3 types. Staple food, growth food, color pride, Hanel guppy food, conditioning food, tetramarin tube food, staple tablet food, and staple tetramarin. Is it tetra? So it says tetramarin there, and then up here it says tetramin. I wonder. I didn't know if they meant tetramarine or whatever. Anyways, doesn't matter. Whatever. Don't care. Look at this. Tropical and saltwater fish and plants. Panagra on Pompano Beach, Florida, Mr. William Pendergrass, the manager. And then also Brazil's most dependable exporters of Tropical Aquario Ltda. And it's in Sao Paulo, which is pretty far south, actually. I thought they'd go north to somewhere else, like why can't I think of the name? Rio de Janeiro. Water temperature and ick. I intend to move the tank several miles from one location to another. The fish will travel comfortably in the new plastic foam thermos jugs. The plants will be carried in a insulated freezer bag. I also want to take along at least part of my old water. For this purpose, I have a collapsible polyurethane like plastic 5-gallon bottle. This water naturally will become chilled in transit. Is there any danger in reintroducing the fish to this water after it has been brought back to its proper temperature? Do organisms such as ick undergo a physiological change during chilling which better enables them to attack fish? And if so, how can water be sterilized? So I think some of these questions are super, they're very thoughtful. And y'all have good, thoughtful questions and everything. But I'm just saying, like, for people writing in random selected questions like this, they have some big implications. Some of the questions you find in this magazine frequently early on, when it was hard to get to. You couldn't get to the internet. You couldn't just be checking out all these different resources and figuring out what's what. You had to go to the library. You had to talk to another older person or an expert or a professor. So it's so impressive to me to see that people were this dedicated early on. I think it was probably more of an all-encompassing all-encompassing hobby, and like even like personality or like social group or clique, which is a part of it that I somewhat can kind of see missing that. Now, what's interesting is also you've got Pelmatochromis, and I'm very curious if this is just the Pelvicochromis tinniatus, which also is no longer in existence. Now it's the Pelvicochromis. They're not calling them tinniatus; they're just going by the collection point now. But look at this aquarium cement. This is what you used before silicone was all over the place. That was your sealing stuff from Chicago. Get your crazy aquarium signs. What do these say? It's so small, I don't know if anybody's supposed to see them. No fishing. Ha 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 ha. No swimming. Oh, so funny. They're like little aquarium art type stuff. And then sterile dip. What is that? Methylene blue or something? Alum. Okay, back to side. Metabofix. It's a tranquilizer for the fish. I wonder what that did. Many uses for hobbyists. Right for free literature, $1.25 a bottle. And then bacticide, and then trisulfate or trisulfa. That's antibiotics right there. Sulfur based. So then they've got the bigger air pumps, which I think are interesting. And look at the price for the big ones, $18.95. That was like to run a fish room, or a good chunk of it. These I've seen in some fish rooms of folks who've been keeping for like 40 or 50 years. I've seen older stuff like this that's still running and going strong. Hard water is a hazard. Here are two new products to control it. Check right. So this is an early pH test, or a TD. What is it? A few drops from the numbered bottles, a swirl, and you get scientific assurance, accuracy, and safety. Dependability includes complete instructions. All right. Okay. Soft right. Control hard water. Just place a convenient pillow. Wait. The convenient pillow in the filter, and the water will be softened by it. And then you can use the tests, the check right test, to make sure that it's getting softer. So that's kind of interesting. We don't have that now, but I could easily see them selling a product where you put it in those filter slots, like the filter, the area. Why won't you focus, camera? There we go. The slots that you have for cartridges, a lot of those filters have an extra slot, and it'd be interesting to see if you could slide in, an extra blade that not just charcoal, but that did TDS or GH and KH, just a little bit, enough that's like set for shrimps or whatever. Dang it, Alex, you were making me feel old. Since that's the state of the art back when we all used it. Alex, fish surgery used to be a thing. That's what it's for. Yeah, definitely. Alishon said of most of the Tiniotis have been reassigned Pelvica chromis crebensis, then the collection point. There are only 2 or 3 there. Okay, so there are still 2 or 3, Alishon. I wasn't sure of that. Because I haven't seen. I'm guessing what Maliwe or Maluwe and maybe Bapindi are the 2 that are left. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, fish anesthesia. You could use clove oil back then. They knew about that too. Plus, there were lots of other chemicals like ether and formaldehyde and stuff that was harsher that you could just order from chemist supply stores and stuff back then too. And then they've got people with ads for a guppy grower. More people talking about like the splitting the tail on their guppy. I don't know how to say that. Is that JEO or TEO? Zio Wei Young? Or is it Geo Wei Young and Sons? Oh, Singapore. So I'm going to guess it's Geo. Cable address. Catfish, Singapore. That's simple. It's funny. Please mention first place winner of the International 1960 Guppy Show in Berlin, Germany. The Bronze Delight. After more than 30 years of breeding exhibition guppies, Mr. Hartung now introduces his greatest achievement, the Bronze Delight. With its large veil tail breeds true. They are a graded or blue-green tails. $14 per pair. Wow. $5 extra for a trio. Other prize-winning varieties are available. Your choice of red, blue, black, dark blue, variegated only. $6.50 a pair. Albino veil tails, 8 a pair. Beautiful green body and veils, 9 a pair. Super interesting to me. Reasonably priced, scientifically developed, specifically for keeping marine fish. I don't know enough about marine fish, so I stay away from it. But I want Wawill special tropical fish food. Ding ding. I don't know what their jingle was. I don't know if they even had a jingle. But more ads. Medaka came into the United States early on. Oh my goodness. Patrick says, I remember when it was recommended that you trim your betta's fins with scissors if they got ragged. Poor fish. That doesn't surprise me at all, but oh, they have nerves in those tails. Yeah, I've seen the same recommendation for ribbon guppies too, for them to be able to reproduce. You cut their gonopodium. All right, so here they've got a big old shark on ice. I don't know what it is. But it seems like there's a lot of marine stuff being advertised here. This is a classic question. How many dwarf seahorses can be kept in a 1-gallon filtered tank? That just sounds like a bad question. 4, 2. What? Can these dwarfs be kept safely with very small puffers? No, no, no. What about starfish? No. Have squids ever been kept successfully in aquariums? Squids require more space than could be provided in a home aquarium. Interesting. I wonder if anybody's kept a squid yet. So Rilla or Rilla was the first salt that John Monroe ever used. Right on. Thank you. Oh, right on. Chan, thank you so much. So Chan, the law monkey, says he just commented that Alex, with those guppies being $14 in that day, 1964, with inflation would be $140 a pair today. Those are some pricey guppies to come out of the U.S. That's really cool. I mean, I think that's something I wish we could aspire to again, to get there, you know? And then the San Francisco Fish Club, Fishkeeping Club, had their little brine shrimp packets that you can still get from brine shrimp, from the San Francisco frozen brine shrimp. And then, oh, it's interesting. Doug wrote something by hand in here. But then they do a species or a spotlight on someone in the hobby, like a local club leader or whatnot. Some of that I can get to later. We're almost at the very end of this episode and at the end of tonight's show. But I'm just curious what you guys think about this. If we'll have to like think of some ways to improve like what I'm doing with the camera. At least it looks like, and I'll have to double check on the replay, see how everything is coming out. If I don't have the light on, it's very hard for it to focus, but then with the light on, you get the glare. So I'm still trying to figure some of that stuff out. And then they've got the big old MetaFrame ad, because they were probably one of the big sponsors at this point for the magazine. They've got the under gravel filter, the tank, the ballast for the lights up here, thermometer, air pump. They just had it all. And those things are worth some money now in a lot of cases. 3D aquarium backgrounds. This is cool. So they're like plastic, but they're injection molded or whatnot, and or extrusion molded maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I guess they're probably like stamped out like extrusion, but they have actual texture to them of like little army men figurines and stuff. Kind of cool. And then one more, scatter good filters. AquaVac, battery powered aquarium vacuum cleaner. Look at that thing. I swear, babe, it's not mine. That thing looks like it kills fish for a living, man. I don't know. But again, you see no deep substrate, just totally vacuuming all the tank water around it. Coral in with stone, in with figurines, in with an Aponigeton. Interesting. Probably an illustration. An illustration of the fish. Although I guess it doesn't have to be impossible. The coral could be real. And then first in aquarium filtration, outside hanging filter and corner filter. I still love these, where you can put whatever you want in them, and then they've got the little bubble stone and air stone and a little bubble chamber to break it up in there. Those are great. And only being $1. I mean, if that inflation calculator was correct, it'd be less than $10 back in the day. Pretty cool. Rut King, Guppy Food, Guppy Booster, Guppy Pro. And then, there's some interesting fish that are now extinct too. Like there was the scarlet, I think it was called, or silver dollar, and then the blue walleye, which is actually a native like trout species that some folks kept in ponds that have gone extinct since all this. But I don't know, super fascinating to me. Another color plate, permacolor aqua gravel, brightest, safest, longest lasting. Somehow I doubt that if everything in the 60s that it was safe, long lasting. I think they just made whatever they wanted to make. There we go. There's that. That's kind of a scary rendition of a brine shrimp, but nevertheless, they're talking about shipping you frozen brine shrimp with dry ice. Pretty advanced for the time. And then bind your book. That's what Doug did when he sent me this the whole season. So we've just looked at one episode. We'll look at more if you guys enjoyed this. More issues rather. Look at that. That's kind of a cool display. This is before Photoshop. You had to use literally a shop and then take a knife to your photos to do Photoshop back in the day on an old collage table. But there are some really specialized food back in the day, like just for gouramis and stuff, which I think is interesting. Boy, that would be nuts to try to keep fish that way, especially talking about feeding this specific mix, just as a highlighting type issue. So the next episode we'll look at these little headstander fish of some sort. I don't know what they're going to be. Maybe it's just various headstanders. Oh well, that's for the next time. On. Oh, brine shrimp right before your eyes. It's like sea monkeys. Only 98 cents. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it an evening here right now. But I hope you guys thought that, and I'll link those resources to all the drought and the extinction. The fact that there was a river that thousands of dead fish showed up on in California, unfortunately, off the Klamath. Also in Poland, hundreds of thousands of dead fish have been showing up, and they don't know what happened exactly. It could be mercury, it could be something else. They haven't found any poison that they've been testing for, though. Really weird. And then again, the Rhine, the Danube, the Thames River in the UK, all over the world and all over the Northern Hemisphere. That's for sure. All sorts of problems going on. The Ganges River, as well as a number of others, the Irrawaddy and the Batman River or Batman River. So it's a rough time for fish right now. 30% are at risk of total extinction. So bit of a bummer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, thank you so very much for tuning in, everybody. For you members, it means the world to me. And also for those of you just hanging out, also means the world that you guys come and watch and hit the like button, subscribe, and come by again. I'll have out a couple more history videos coming soon. We've got the second part of the carp video and how they were mixed with koi to make Drought koi, which is a pretty cool story about the mirror carp that I caught. Then we'll have some more betta history, and I got my channel got, what's the word, striked, and then sanctioned for a while. So we're going to talk about that too in videos also. Again, mods, thank you so much for keeping everything. The Thames River, thank you. Yeah, we call it the Thames. I see it the Thames. The Thames River. I guess it depends on what part of Britain your accent's from also, eh? Or if you're not from there. I mean, you guys say it right however you say it in London, but yeah, the whole fact that like there's miles of it dried up by the headwaters, I mean, that might just be a little stream, but it's still weird. They say they don't have record of it for the last 500 to 1,000 years happening. Very not good. But yes. All right, guys, we'll have a good one. We will continue to try to improve on the setup here with the technology and the cameras and the lights and the microphone and the Dr. Pepper and all that. And then how I'm keeping up with chat and also trying to type at the same time and look into the camera without sounding crazy or losing track of what I'm juggling and the stack of books here. But thank you for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you liked it. And I tried to turn all the ads off so y'all didn't have to do that. But also, if you want to toss in any last minute, oh, and it's our time to close down the site or close down the stream because we've got a inappropriate bot filling spam up with the site. Dragon Layer got it. So thank you to mods, everybody, and Mick. Good night, just in time. Good to see everybody, though. I'll talk to y'all later on Friday. Also, Fishery will be coming out. I just had to redecide what I was going to do because I was going to do stories about all the fish die-offs and all the droughts and rivers dried up. There's just too many to focus on that. I want to focus on something a little more uplifting than that, ideally. But we'll see what makes the cut tonight or whatnot. Plus, I also have some exciting news coming up about Vivi, that new app that is coming out where you can buy and sell fish, and it's all focused around that being done ethically and fairly and well and quickly. And yeah, it's a really cool thing that I've been working on developing, like as a freelancer. I've been helping them with it. So I'm excited for when that launches, and I'll tell everybody about that just out of my own excitement. So lots of stuff's coming up in the early part of on the 8th of September. I'll be headed down to Florida, so should go collecting and making some videos with various folks and friends. So I'm pretty excited. But let me know in the comments after this video uploads if you like looking at the old book. I know it was a little shaky and issues and stuff, but we'll try to sort all that out and figure it out. I wish I could just upload a fully clear PDF for all you members. And maybe for members, we could do that. I don't know. I'll have to talk to a lawyer friend. Anyways, I'm going to talk to you guys later and have a awesome, amazing week. Take care. Bye.